Many of the stories we cover on this programme come from you, and our next one is an example of that. Julia contacted the show asking if we'd talk about Lyme disease, which she'd had, nearly 20 years ago. We're going to find out more about that, but also meet someone on the programme today whose partner suffers with the disease. Julie Knight from Lyme Disease UK and Simon Fell are with me now. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Simon, first of all, set the scene for us. Tell us how your partner developed Lyme disease.
Well, in essence, we were on a holiday in Scotland, and to cut it short, she found 3 ticks on her person, and we had zero understanding of the potential implications. So when she came home, she started feeling flu-like symptoms, and we obviously contacted the emergency services to see what help we could get, see what was going on, and it all went downhill from there.
You mentioned a tick there, Julia. So is this where we get Lyme disease from? Is it passed by getting bitten by a tick?
Yeah, ticks can be infected with the bacteria Borrelia. I can't say it first thing in the morning. But it's important to note that not all ticks are infected with the bacteria. So it's a little bit of Russian roulette if you get bitten. However, if you're bitten by a tick, if you're aware of the potential problems, obviously to remove it quickly as possible and to get advice, particularly if you start becoming have symptoms of like flu illness, aches and pains, which obviously can be mistaken just for any common or garden illness.
You mentioned remove the tick as quickly as possible. They're not always easy to remove, though, are they? I know when my cat used to get ticks, you did a little like a screw mechanism to unscrew the tick. They burrow themselves into you, don't they?
Yeah. It's really important that you remove it properly. You can buy a tick remover if you're a pet owner. If you haven't got a tick remover, you can buy them from vets and pet shops and all that sort of thing. If you can get a pair of very fine tipped tweezers, not the sort of tweezers you pluck your eyebrows with, the very fine tipped ones, and remove it really carefully, making sure every bit of it comes out.
Yeah. Did you know what it was? Did you know they were ticks when your partner was bitten by the tick?
Not at first, no. She was in the shower and she just thought they were possibly like a scab or something like that. It wasn't till...
and it was more than one, wasn't it?
She had 3 of them on her body,
okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And where do you think that this happened? Because you were on holiday at the time, weren't you?
Yes. It was unfortunate. The camper van we'd hired out had broken down just outside of Glasgow. And, following all the guidelines, I made sure everyone got out the vehicle and waited at the roadside. And we were next to a sheep field, and I believe that was when it happened.
Where the ticks came from.
Yes.
But they could you could be out for a country walk. Does it tend to be the sheep that have ticks? Is it sheep that we need to be aware of?
Well, the most common animal that people related ticks to were deer. So... like doctors would say, if you haven't been anywhere near deer, you can't have Lyme disease. In actual fact, we now know that ticks are in every county in the UK.
With this
and it doesn't
disease.
matter if there's no sheep, deer, or whatever animals about. They're being found in grassy areas as normal, wooded areas, but they've been found in urban parks. Last year, in the media, Matt Dawson, the rugby player, was bitten in a London park, was misdiagnosed, and ended up having major heart surgery because the Lyme was missed and it attacked his heart. So urban parks now, we've even had people bitten in their own back garden.
Goodness. Tell me about your partner, because it's not been good news, has it?
No, her health has deteriorated rapidly over 3 years. Before the bite, she was one of the most active, driven people I've ever known. She was really keen on martial arts, on working out, walking, going outside. And we're at a point now where she is spending the majority of her time unable to get out of bed. On a bad day, she has a hypersensitivity to light and sound, and actually is unable to speak due to what she describes as the fact that her muscles just don't work.
And what treatment has she been offered?
Well, this is the issue, really. Unfortunately, there's been very little treatment that has been offered. We've had an ongoing series of tests through the NHS, such as the rheumatology department and the endocrinology department to check her adrenaline responses, etc. On the whole, there hasn't been any through the NHS. We had to go private through the Breakspear Clinic, who are based in Milton Keynes, and they put her on a anti-malaria medication for a bit, which seemed to make a bit of odds, but that's been it. Any other treatment has been found out or advised through other people.
Stay with us. I want to talk some more in just a moment.
BBC Radio Lincolnshire Travel.
BBC Radio Lincolnshire you're listening to. We're talking about Lyme disease on the programme today. Julia Knight from Lyme Disease UK and Simon Fell, whose partner has Lyme disease. I mean, what is the future for your partner?
We don't know. The scary thing is how it is affecting her now. Potentially could be creating permanent issues. She's currently, her autonomous functions and her central nervous system are constantly under attack. So she potentially could have a lot of organ damage and potentially brain damage as well from it.
And this is all from being bitten by, in her case, 3 ticks.
Yes.
At least one of those would have been an infected tick.
Yes.
How important is it to get treatment as soon as possible?
Very important. But the problem is, where people are misdiagnosed is because a lot of GPs just don't have the awareness of Lyme disease. They'll say, you haven't been anywhere where you could have got Lyme disease, the deer thing, or because Lyme was first found in Lyme in America, well, you haven't been to America, you can't have Lyme disease. The testing, if you've got a GP who is on the ball, the other problem we've got in the UK is the testing is inadequate. There's a 2-tier system of testing in the UK. The first test, an ELISA test, is not reliable. There's different estimates to how reliable it is, depending who you talk to. But if you go if you go average, 60 to 70%, some doctors will tell you it's 100%. It isn't. But even if it was 90% accurate, people are still being missed.
And if people have been bitten by a tick, they've been out on a country walk and they've been bitten by a tick, what advice would you give them?
Okay. Well, first of all, if they see the tick, remove it carefully.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on the bite, where the bite site. If you start getting what they call a typical bullseye rash around the bite, actually looks exactly like a bullseye, seek advice. You don't need any testing for that. That is a diagnosis on its own for Lyme disease. Unfortunately, not everybody gets the rash. So if you know you've been bitten, you don't see a rash, but then after 2 or 3 days you start to feel a bit fluey. A big symptom is neck ache, aching joints, just as if you had the flu. Go seek advice. Make sure that the GP is aware of what a tick can do, because that sounds ridiculous.
Some people don't even know what a tick looks like, do they? And I think this is quite interesting. I know when Henry, our cat, had a tick for the first time, I thought it was like a little lump. I thought it was like a spot that had come up or something. Yeah. You can't always tell what it is, but if you think you've been bitten by a tick, I'm sure you would say, with your partner's situation, seek advice as soon as you can.
Definitely. Yeah, they are so small. They're almost invisible to the naked eye, I would suggest.
And they're also different sizes at different time in their life cycle. So when I was bitten, about this time of year, early spring, you can hardly see them. They're like smaller than a poppy seed. They're in the nymph stage, which are just, you'd never see them. I didn't see the tick that bit me.
Goodness. Lovely to see you both. Let's get this message out there. If you want to know more details, go onto the website and look up Lyme disease. Lyme is Lyme, Lyme disease, to find more details. If you have been bitten by a tick and it's affected you, and you want to share your story with me this morning, you can do. It's 08000 665 949 to hear how that happened to you. And also, if you'd like some general advice, we've got some leaflets here, and I'll tell you how you can get hold of those in a moment. If you want to have a look at the website to find more about Lyme disease, LymeDiseaseUK.com is the website you need, LymeDiseaseUK.com, and I'll tweet some information about that a little bit later on in the programme as well. But again, as I said, if you've been out for a walk and you've been bitten by a tick and you've had a reaction to that as well, the only experience I have of ticks is when Henry the cat had a couple of ticks, and I didn't know what they were. To look at them, it just looked like a little lump had come up, and we took him to the vets because we didn't know what it was. Oh yeah, that's a tick. And he got this contraption, little plastic contraption that was like a little screw, and he unscrewed the tick. It was fascinating to watch. Anyway, if you've been affected by that, then you can call us 08000 665 949.